I'm going to be taking little bits and pieces of my reality as an example as I make videos over the next period of time, if I need to. But right now I'm going to be use an incident, a real life incident in my own personal journey, sort of to relate to why I'm asking you those questions when I first started this video clip. On or about 2007, in my personal journey, I'd come to a point in my journey that I had to make one of the biggest decisions of my life. Now, I've had a pretty extraordinary kind of a journey, not your usual. Not everyone's journey is exactly the same. Everyone's got their own unique personality, their own unique set of circumstances, but I'm going to be relating the message I'm trying to get through to you by using little incidents that has happened in my own personal walk. So this incident was in regards to two people in my life, and these two women I had known within, there was a gap maybe within a year. I met them both. And I had a really close relationship with these two women. And even though at that time I knew them both well personally, as individuals, they both trusted me. And, I was, at that time, I befriended them and I was just helping them out. And, there was a need. And so I just, at the time, I just, out of, my own free choice, I decided to help them out. To cut a long story short, I came to a point where they both became really close friends too. But then the relationship that I had with them were quite personal, quite, like a best friend, and they confided in me. And they both had a pretty, such an easy background or set of circumstances. But I won't mention any name because there's no need to at this stage, or would I ever in the future. But in saying that, if you've been following me on Facebook, you might be able to put 1 and 2 together. Others already know because they know what I'm saying is true, because they've either been involved in the cases in the past and have known about what I'm saying is true.
Hi everyone, I'm just going to be continuing from part 6, and this video clip is part 7. So I'm just going to just start off from coming back from the last video clip where I went over some evidence in regards to my court case. Sorry that last video clip was quite long, but it just had to be. So I'll try and keep this one short, but I don't know, because this one I'm going to be going over the actual judgment. So basically I'm dealing with unlawful strikes to do with my personal property and my court cases that's been going on for over 9 years, and I'm contesting them because they're fraud. And basically the evidence that I submitted in court at that point of time when I did do my court cases. So that is what you'll be seeing on the video clips, is the actual evidence that was exhibited in court. And so I'm dealing against the unlawful strikes, and it's my case against the defendants at this point, and as my case is against the Crown, which is the defendant in my cases, to do with everything to do with my personal property. So basically I'm an exploited person, and the best way to describe what everyone has done to me, they have studied me intimately since I was working for my employer. and the environment was actually very serious and dangerous at that point of time. But I was just a situation I couldn't, I had no choice but to go through it and write it out. So the best way to explain is of an exploited person is basically your environment is contaminated, and then you have zombie zone people walking around behaving like zombies, and eventually you end up feeling exiled or eliminated. So basically I'll be just going over my court case and just bits and pieces in regards to independent police code of conduct. So definitely sufficient evidence to prove an historical privacy breach. Okay, also historical hostage taking, also historical of people that are probably not alive today and are dead, but were definitely like derives, or my cases derives from going back then, and they are part of it from the beginning. Okay, the reality is, regardless if people are dead in the past, because it's happened to my private life, it's home invasion. Okay, so what I'm proving is actually home invasion, privacy breaches, and a trafficking ring, being subject to a trafficking ring by force, and also the system letting an individual down, that it didn't actually work. And then as the years go by, the offences actually accumulates. Okay, so it's crimes against humanity. That is what my profile would actually show, that there are signs that I have been dehumanized of a human being. Intentional, so we're dealing with intentional crime and a lot of in the moment incidents that's happened. So basically it's just proving that these things did actually happen. The opposing allies have used the Mental Health Act upon myself as a cover-up of a historical case of human trafficking, acts of terrorism used for pecuniary advantage, relationship scams, a product to promote other people, illegal Commonwealth games. So basically my case is definitely crimes against humanity, and it is a criminal case. It doesn't even belong in the civil. So to those that are doing what they're doing to me, I'm actually dead. So it's just basically me proving what they are doing is wrong and is illegal. So basically I'm being animated or inanimate. So to the government or whoever is using me, they are to them I'm dead. So that's why all these people are stalking me and following me. But it is a case of a conspiracy to commit murder. Okay, so there's sufficient evidence historically because of the negligence and the intentional damage. There's sufficient evidence to prove conspiracy to commit murder by body corporates. Okay, guys. Just in the beginning of that video, I just realized I didn't turn it on while I was talking, so I have to start again. But in the beginning of this video clip, I was just going over a clip and I was talking about two people in my life back then, and I hadn't mentioned their names, but their names were actually mentioned in this letter here that was written. I wrote to Pastor King, or basically at that time I knew the breaches had started. They were only just breaches, and people passing information about my private life linking to church. So I knew that there was some kind of a connection of privacy breaches going back and forth in my private life. And the people I was talking about in that video clip was Heather and Angela, Heather Hughes here and Angela Jones here. Okay, so what I'm saying is that I'm proving on my video clips, this letter here is actually an exhibit. And I am alleging that this person, Heather Hughes, knew Steve Shortland, okay, the commissioner. I'm saying he knew her. I've already mentioned this in court, that when I sent my protected disclosure to him, I didn't realize who he was in the beginning until later on. I realized he knew Heather Hughes. He had a red motorbike, but when I sent him the letter, he left his job suddenly. I'll show you the person I'm talking to. His name is actually an exhibit in court. This person here, I sent the protected disclosure to this person, Steve Shortland, and he CC'd this guy here. Okay, so he's the commissioner. Okay, so I've done all the right step. What I'm trying to say is this person here knew Heather Hughes. Okay, and he stalked me for a while. I can actually identify him. I gave this evidence in court while I was presenting my case. So basically, I'm at this point of time, I freaked out because this is the letter of evidence that Independent Police Code of Conduct got, and so did IPCA. Okay, and they did, as far as I was concerned, they did nothing. They just left me in my work environment in a dangerous environment. So this here was in 2010. So I am alleging, or I know for a fact, and I can actually prove that Steve Shortland, the Assistant Commissioner, actually knew Heather Hughes personally. He has a red motorbike. There are other things that I can actually give evidence about what he did or how they know each other. I knew what he looked like because he stalked me for a while. And I actually crossed paths with him one time when he came to check me out at work, and I'm quite sure there's evidence of that under the camera while I was working for the Ministry of Justice at the courts. But I was scared as hell when I realised later on who he was, because I didn't know who he was. I didn't know that he was actually the police commissioner, but Heather did tell me who he was when he used to turn up to her house with a red bike, and I just put one and two together, but I didn't know he was actually a commissioner. But Angela actually told me that he knew her, and she was shocked that he knew her. But I knew also Heather had an old life, like before I met her, and I realised that he'd actually found her because he told her that he was looking for her, but they knew each other personally, very intimately personally. So I did disclose that in the courts, but I did, so these are all the evidence I mentioned in court. This here is an exhibit, and this was actually sent to Independent Police Code of Conduct as part of the evidence. The Independent Police Code of Conduct has actually acknowledged the bundle of documents. So what you're citing on my YouTube channel is pure evidence that was in those documents. Okay, so this here was the mental health assessment that my employer actually sent me to go. So there's a lot in the documents to prove, after the fact evidence of fraudulent medical assessments and stuff like that written by medical practitioners in my case. Okay, so basically I asked for the mental health assessment that they wrote about me. Okay, at that point in time, it was in 2009. I was complaining about the stalking. Then I was getting discriminated at work. People were stalking me, at work 24/7. I know that not everyone is dead, so everyone can actually be a witness. There were a lot of people that was a witness to the stalking while I was working for my employer. That alone is illegal, but that was a condition I was working under. Okay, I couldn't even go to the bathroom without somebody stalking me. But I also had, I knew that I was being, somebody was monitoring me and studying me and doing scientific experiments on me, just acts of suspicion. Okay. So I was really upset when I pulled this out and I read what they wrote in here, and I felt that this here was evidence that they were trying to create evidence. The information written on this report upset me because some of the things they've made up themselves, but it was quite clear. My relationship with Pastor King and Pauline King back then was very close. Okay, everybody has issues, but I never, like, some of the things that was written, I felt like it was a setup more than anything, because it wasn't true, or they've taken what I've said out of context and written all these things. So these are all kind of like, there's a lot of the information on these documents I was very upset about. But anyway, nothing came out of it. There was nothing wrong with my mental health, but it was a starting point of defamation. This is what I'm trying to say. There's clear evidence. I'm proving after the fact of a conspiracy just by documentations to ruin somebody's reputation. Okay. So the two ladies who wrote this letter, this assessment, as it turned out, they weren't even psychiatrists. They were actually nurses. They didn't even qualify to do any mental health assessment on me. So they actually, Ministry of Health actually lost their case, and I won that case against the Ministry of Health in Judge Chalice's case. But I'm going to carry on, because even just by reading the evidence, there's sufficient evidence to prove which state is behind the criminal harassment, possibly even other serious crimes, cybercrime. Okay, but it's like, because these are the people, they are the defendant in my case. So keep in mind, they are the defendant. I'm actually the plaintiff, but in reality, I'm actually the victim of crimes. But what I'm trying to say is, just from reading the documents, I can tell that they were creating evidence. There are other evidence in the PSA case where I felt they were creating evidence, because that's what it looks like. But there's sufficient evidence to prove acts of terrorism, to prove cybercrime. I'm the victim here, and I'm describing everything in writing. So this report here was the report that is evidence against the Ministry of Health. 2 nurses, they were actually nurses. The council at that time was Paul White, okay, and then it was, then they changed the council, okay, but they didn't win, they lost. But the judges still made unlawful strikes, and that's why I'm contesting it. But it is a criminal case, and so I'm just going over that now. Okay, so we're dealing with good faith or bad faith, all right? But with all the unlawful strikes that has taken place in my cases, I don't know what everybody wants to think, but I have not been able to go forward. I'm constantly up against opposing allies, sabotaging, switching, stealing. They're in my space, micromanaging me. They're acting out their threats. They're intimately telling me what they're doing over the speaker or acting it out. Some days are worse than others. But that is serious. You're talking globally. I'm getting acts of terrorism linking. It doesn't matter where I move. When I was at my apartment for nearly 5 years, all that was happening, so it didn't matter where I went, it followed me, telling me the same people are pinning me down and are trying to murder me. There's sufficient evidence of all that. So I'm dealing with bad faith versus good faith. Obviously my privacy is gone, and I have exhausted the justice system. There has been well over 20 judges involved in my case, but different people are just taking turns using me and abusing me and stealing. Okay, so all these things, every single laws that protects an individual's liberty, human rights, excuse me, or the Crimes Act, even this, so easy to even groom somebody to their death, exactly what they've done to me. They've groom people, and then they speak kindly and try and convince them of a lie, and then they murder them. Other ways of getting murdered is by being poisoned. That's happened to me while I was working for my employer. I got poisoned by the flu injection, but I didn't know. Time I was thinking back to, there was no warning sign that I was going to get poisoned by the flu injection. I just did it. I don't even know why I did it. It's something I was thinking, why the heck did I even do it? Because I'm actually a really healthy person. And I just, in the moment, just decided to do it. And then I ended up getting this dry cough and that. And then now that I've mentioned that, but Angela Jones, the incident with her was that the father of her child, I believe that I had the same poisoning that he had, and he died in a car accident from a drug. She described to me what was wrong with him. And he said something was really wrong with him. He kept getting this dry cough. He couldn't get rid of it. But he ended up having a car accident and he died, and the little girl lived. So, but I felt when I got poisoned in 2010, I felt that I had the same symptoms as that person. Okay, so what I'm saying is I believe I was targeted, and I'm still targeted to this day. Okay, but I don't, I have no intention of giving up. I believe I'm within my right space to actually do what I'm doing. But this is the dangerous thing about being glued, cloned, and substitutes. Okay, they're so glued to they're studying people's personality, and then they're gluing them and copying them, and with the intention to eventually steal and take over and switch. This also can all happen with grooming somebody to their death, and the grooming involves switching and stealing. It's money laundering, and that's what my case is all about, and I'm able to prove that. Okay, so we're dealing with good faith and bad faith. Okay guys, I recommend you guys watch, if you've got Netflix, to watch this program. Okay, it's called Hunger Games, and it's exactly like how it is. There's no laws, and you're actually fighting for your life all the time. So the only way you can actually prove what you're going through is actually building yourself a case to protect yourself. So then, you don't end up losing everything you own. And it's just, because that is what's happening now, is the secret societies are all just taking turns. They call themselves agents or hosts, but some of them are actually extremists. And there's I have a reasonable belief about 3 or 4 perpetrators stalking me at once, hacking my phone, and doing proxy hacking, and I just know, but I can't do anything about it. Okay, these people call themselves hosts, agents. I know the police is involved, so they're definitely guilty somewhere. But it is a real life global game. It is so dangerous, but this program, I'd say, probably is the best way to explain what trafficking in persons is, where all of a sudden all these things happen. It don't make sense. It's not right, and you're basically just reliant on the decisions you make. So it is an illegal Commonwealth Games, guys. The people that are glued to you, their intent is to take over. Okay, there's no remorse. They don't care. Others have used me to get their foot in the door for relationship scams, but this also links to my court cases. Okay, so the court cases, the substitutes are linked to them, and they're linked to the government. Their lawyers are linked to them, so it's them, but to them they call it fresher or younger or whatever they want to call it. It's pathetic, really immature, childish, bunch of thieves, no brains. I'm really furious because they've made me go through this for 9 years. It was ridiculous. So, but how I am explaining it is the best way to explain crimes against humanity, okay? It's illegal, it's inhumane, it's soul-destroying, it is conspiracy to commit murder because they've taken away all my rights. And then they're using substitutes. So I'm being animated, and then they clone in their switch. So it's easy to prove. Okay, so while we're on the topic of conspiracy to commit murder, just for those that don't know, but killing an unborn child, okay, is a crime. It's an active law. So it doesn't matter what culture, belief, or religion belief other people have. That doesn't come in if an unborn child or a woman and a mother and a child gets murdered, or they die. The body corporates involved, in my cases, everyone involved in my cases, are all liable because they know a crime is measured by motive and intent, meaning they knew it. They knew it. They ignored it. They covered it up. So if a mother and an unborn child don't make it, it's a conspiracy to commit murder or murder. Okay, but it is a law, and I'll show it to you. Here you go. Can you see it? Killing an unborn child. Now I know some people, they don't believe in, some people don't even like kids or anything like that. And, spiritually speaking, I'm a Christian, and my belief is I don't believe in killing any children or any unborn children. I don't believe in abortion, and that's my right to believe all that. But according to the law, if you kill an unborn child, it's 14 years imprisonment right here, okay? Now, keep in mind that some of these people, they call themselves agents. Some of them, their beliefs, they're using their own beliefs. What I'm saying is you don't even know who the hell they are, and that they're trying to control our situation or force their beliefs on us. Well, that's what they've done to me. Or, other people making decisions, a coalition they call themselves, making a decision on somebody else's well-being and mental health. Now, the only time anyone can do that is if I have signed over a power of attorney. So quite clearly everyone can witness there's nothing wrong with me mentally or health-wise. Health-wise, I'm actually really a healthy person. So in saying that, I'm within my rightful mind to do everything I'm doing, meaning that the government does not have any power, no power to do what they're doing to me other than they're breaking the law. I'm just using my case as an example because they are the defendant. I'm the plaintiff, but according to the law, I'm the victim of crimes, and I'm just proving that. So basically what I'm saying is these coalitions, the people globally around the world, some of them don't believe, some of them don't care about kids, they don't care about anything. Some of them are atheists, meaning an atheist is a person who doesn't believe in God, okay? But the system has enabled, these people, they call themselves coalitions, to make decisions on a person's well-being. I mean, these people are making decisions now, she can die or he can die, but they're using substitutes. That's what I'm saying. And they're coding, and that's why I've been denouncing any coding referring to me. I'm denouncing, so everyone can see and understand where I'm coming from, that I'm not making it up. It's one thing to turn somebody's life into a sport and a game, and they don't know about it. That's unfair, okay? In the beginning, I didn't know that that's what they're actually doing. But it's a different story when you do realise what they're doing. I know it's working because I think they're really scared, or may even be, they're stopping because they realise that they're breaking the law. But they are breaking the law. So killing an unborn child is still an active. This here is found in the Crimes Act. Okay, so no one can force you to have an abortion or anything in New Zealand. A lot of other cultures in that they don't care about this, and also they are, with what I've gone through and have experienced personally, it's so easy to even kill the mother and steal the child and then sell the child overseas. There's all that kind of black market things going. The same thing, killing people for their organs, organ harvesting. People are demanding for organs around the world and paying money for. So these are all the kind of things, a trafficking ring, like what I've gone through, where people are being secretly trafficked, and anything can happen. Okay, so today I'm going to go on over the judgment. Okay, so this here's actually I've already gone through this judgment. This here's the judgment against the New Zealand police, and that was made on the 30th of April 2025. Okay, so just bear in mind that I'm trapped. Okay, that's not hard to tell, but the judgments are made by those in government, and I didn't realize this until I realized that, oh my gosh, when I was watching the government's channels and stuff like that was coming up on YouTube, and I was like, flippin' heck, this is what I'm going through in my private life, and they're acting it out on their video clips on YouTube and social media. And it was consistent with what I was going through, but I had to denounce it. I had to expose what they were doing, because what they were doing was affecting every area of my life, okay? But I won't go over much on this one. This here's the actual judgment. There's just something I needed to prove, a point, okay? You can tell a lot. I can tell a lot just from what the statements people write. A criminal judge will know exactly what I'm talking about. But because I'm the victim of crimes, and the criminal alliances are in my space, so I'm actually able to identify and actually ascertain whether they're gangs or a specific group of people, a specific state, a specific culture. But they've taken turns. All I can say is they've all just taken turns trafficking me. And I'm just trying to find something on this. There was something I wanted to show you before I go on to the actual judgment. See words like this, the final lump. I'm sorry, but words like that concerns me. Okay, I'm trying to prove serial humanizing, dehumanizing of a human being just by what these people are writing in their documents. Okay, but I find it very offensive, but also it links to how they've treated me. Okay, so keeping in mind, I went to do a judiciary review with the Ministry of Health, and I've asked the courts to actually make sure that that all the corporate bodies follow suit. Okay, there was a total of 6 body corporates in my cases, but instead of the courts doing what I wanted them to do because it was my case, they split my case up. Okay, but I have a problem with them writing stuff like this. Okay, I say that because of the things I witness in the moment. You know, these people are acting out. They're acting out what they're going to do. They're acting out they're going to murder somebody. They're using their road work jobs. Okay, I know other people have witnessed it. You're not losing your mind. You're being sensible. You know something's not right. And when you sense that, it's not right. Okay? Especially if there's a consistency. But these criminal alliances are using their jobs. Okay? They are using roadworks. They're using their job's vehicle. They're using the trucks. If they've got trucks in it, they're using it like a weapon. They're using their jobs like a weapon to block people out. And then eventually, it doesn't stop there. They keep on attacking until you're dead. That's what I have witnessed. But this is also what I'm trying to say is linking to the coding globally, okay? And the words are that the medical practitioners or the people in my space, it's not. It just gives me a bad vibe. It just tells me how they feel, how they think, and it's really hard to explain. But we're talking about psychopathic crimes. Okay, we're talking about that these people are glued to the people they want to murder. Okay, I think everyone can see the picture with what I'm trying to say. But there's just something on this here. On this one, I wanted to just go over quickly before I go over the Independent Police Code of Conduct judgment. The judgment was actually released on the 12th. Okay, these people keep telling me I'm gonna die, blah blah blah, and I rebuke that. Okay, because I don't believe I'm going to die, and not before my time anyway. But there is something in this video clip, on this judgment. I just needed to, sorry guys, I think it's really important. Okay, let's see if I can find it. I'll go slowly on it, see if I can find it. I just feel it's vital. So what I'm actually identifying, the criminal alliance that I have a reasonable belief behind the micromanaging, but it's what I'm trying to say, it's linking to the defendants in my cases. The white supremacists and the cultures operating together, partnership, okay, to sabotage an individual. Basically, I'm identifying them just by what they write on paper. Okay, an experienced judge will see exactly what I'm talking about, but we're talking about a criminal case here. just by documentations. And keeping in mind, guys, I used to do jury trials, depositions. I did murder cases, serious fraud cases. You can actually tell a lot just by documents, okay, just by what people write. I can't find what I'm looking for. Hang on. Isn't it terrible when you want something, it's not there? Hang on. Let's see. So the judgments are biased and prejudiced already. You know, they're all trading in influence, which makes it a very unfair fight. But anyway, that's how it is at the moment. Here it is, right here. This here is what I wanted to show you guys. This here, can you see it? Crichton versus Joseph. Okay, he is a psychiatrist. He's Indian, right? I'm going to expose you guys because you are in my space. And this is why the government are doing what they're doing. And I've been denouncing it and everyone's woken up to it, okay? But they've turned it into like some kind of a culture, okay? Culture, white supremacists encouraging other cultures to gang on other cultures. That's not fair. Okay, so instead of seeing me as a victim, they're looking at my nationality and everyone's ganging up on me because of my nationality. That's a coward's game. So I'm happy to expose what you guys are doing, okay? Because that's not on. That's cheating. You're stealing. You're breaking every law. It's cunning. It's deceitful, and that's just really bad. Okay, so I wanted just to point that out. This guy here, Crichton versus Joseph. This is on the New Zealand police judgment. Now, while I'm talking about that, but this guy here, New Zealand police, he's a psychiatrist for the Ministry of Health who enforced the Mental Health Act on me with the other Asian doctor who was, what was her name? Camilla, I think it's Kim is the surname. She was Asian. So why I have to say this is that these people are using their country or their culture, whatever their religion or culture is, and they're all ganging up on me. So why I'm mentioning him is that he actually lost. Judge Chalice actually striked him out in the judgment of Judge Chalice. And I mentioned this in court, but this is pure evidence of cybercrime on documentations, on legal documentations written by a judge. Okay, I don't even know who's written this. Sometimes I wonder even if it's the same judge writing the documents for the judgments, because like, is this for real? Oh my gosh. But yeah, so can you notice how this is going on here? And this is what the government was also doing. I'm talking white supremacists. I'm talking about Aotearoa, the Maori extremists. You know, everyone's woken up. And that's why they're all stepping down, losing their job. Because the right people are seeing exactly what I'm seeing. But that is not on. That is very serious. And that is not fair. Okay, so people are like this illegal game. People are looking at me for my nationality or my circumstances rather than me being the victim. At the same time, they are defaming me left, right and centre. But it's stopping, so I know I'm winning, okay? Because I know they're scared. But I'm going to be exposing evidence, and this is my evidence. This guy here, Crichton versus Joseph. Yes, the Indians have been in my space, and I'm not saying this Indian represents every other Indians, because I've got Indian friends that I know really well, but I'm just stating a fact. This is what the white supremacists are doing, okay? And in other cultures, they're joining up and ganging up on other innocent, you know, civilians that don't even know they're involved in a real big global game or real big global illegal conspiracy using somebody as a product. That's what I'm subject to, and I denounce you guys. I'm exposing what I see and hoping that you all grow up, okay? But I can say that this guy, John Joseph, okay, and you know that some religions, they don't like strong women, okay, and other religions, you know, it's all about power and superior, but you're doing it the wrong way. You're breaking the law. So I'm exposing what I see for my criminal case, but I can confirm and verify that on Judge Chalice's judgment, they lost. This guy lost. Okay. Then there was another hearing that was set, so then the judge can actually, you know, compensate me and write a judgment. But the system, or all these people behind what I'm going through, want to make sure that I never get compensated, and they've persecuted me intimately through the whole process. So this here is on the, I wanted to just highlight that, okay? And it's been really hard on me because I'm being isolated, exiled, and they're in my space only to find out these people in government are inciting, and it's stopping, and it should stop, and I will keep on exposing you guys, okay? I will keep exposing what yous are doing is so wrong. But this here is was written by Judge Sussex. So what I'm trying to say is these coalitions, they're all trading in influence. You know, that's wrong what they've done. They know that they've taken everything away from me, isolate me, bully me, and try and kill me and steal everything that belongs to me. Okay, guys, so what I'm going to be going over today is the here you go, Independent Police Code of Conduct. This is the hearing. It was actually released on the 12th of September. And yes, I was gutted when I read what was read. But I will let you guys read it. I won't read all of it because I'll just get, you guys can just stop and read it. So as you notice, the Crown was S. McCasker. Okay, so that's sabotaging everything. So I have no choice but to do this. And I'm doing this to make sure my criminal case happens. But read it anyway. I won't read it because I thought I'd just put it on this video clip. But it's a real game, okay? I was really disappointed with what I was shocked because everything they said in here, they said I didn't do, I did do. But I'll just go over it. I'll just scroll, and so you guys can just read the judgment yourself. Now, keep in mind that these judgments are forever, okay? What they're doing, these judgments are forever. So that's why I'm contesting that, because I am not going to have these judgments on my name forever, because they are lies, okay? It's defamation, it's abuse of the court system, it's fraudulent, it's perjury, and it's gutless what they've done to me, okay? They're abusing me, taking everything away from me, isolated everybody away from me. They're interfering in everything I am doing. Okay, but anyways, go over it. But that's why I'm contesting it, because these judgments are forever. But it is appalling. Okay, with all the evidence I've submitted, everything is true. My life, and the other thing I have found really unfair, these people are retrieving all my personal everything. And everyone knows I'm worth a lot of money, dead or alive, and there's no way I'm going to let them steal my life. Okay, you guys can just stop it and read it, because you won't have access to this. See, notice how it's got Crichton versus Joseph. So basically what you're witnessing is an illegal Commonwealth game by using the government system on other people. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say here. Okay, so some white supremacists are using the Indians or encouraging their marriages. They're grooming each other. They're in partnership. It's only one woman against the whole world, it feels like, but not so, because I know God is definitely on my side. And basically what I'm showing is that the illegal Commonwealth games, okay? I know that my families have been involved, people in church have been involved, but they have not known what's going to happen down ahead. Otherwise, they wouldn't even get involved. But that is what a privacy breach does, okay? People start forming coalitions, and then they see the advantage of taking over, be superior over another person or another country or another, race. People are racist, anyway. But I'm denouncing you guys, but I guess everyone's witnessing what they're using me for, okay? So I'm very disappointed of my personal finding, but I know that everyone in government are not into this game or even is aware that it actually existed, because I didn't know myself until I had to go through it. So there you go again, Crichton versus Joseph, okay? He's Indian, okay? And they're in my space, okay? I get freaked out, get scared, because I know I'm being micromanaged by the people who are responsible of other people that are dead today, okay? They come out when I'm by myself. They're linked to the gangs. They're linked to the government, okay? These people get really offensive when they're being exposed, and that's why they're trying to make out I'm the one that's crazy, but I'm telling you I'm not. But I'm exposing to you legal documents written in court. So this is a very serious case, okay? And I'm quite sure those that think like me will make sure I'll get my justice one way or another, whether I make it or not. But the whole idea is to make it. But read it for yourself. It's bias and prejudice, and keeping in mind there's a lot of people who are on the run who've committed perjury. So all they're doing is they're covering up for each other. That's what they're doing. And not only that, the other reason why other people are doing it is because they don't want to be cyberbullied. Because some people's beliefs are barbaric. Okay, I'm not racist. I'm non-Māori in saying that I'm not against any race. I'm just my own person, and I'm my own right to be my own person as an individual. But other people have taken advantage of an innocent person and did their illegal games and trying to enforce their beliefs on me. So basically, I'm just standing up for my own individual rights as an individual citizen. And they've coded me in words. Others see me as an immigrant. They've used a lot of the videos I've used over the years. I know they've talked about me, and that can actually be used against them. So I'm just going over it. So as you can see, the judge's decision was she declined it. Okay. There you go. Now, the other thing is what you all have to know. All those judgments, all my cases are worth a lot of money. Okay, so they did this with me with Unison Dance Crew. That was worth a lot of money. What these people are doing, these coalitions are doing, they're stealing people's ideas, people's intellectual property that's worth millions and billions of money, and making it their own. Okay, so everything that I've written is actually 100% true. Let's go over it. just so you can all read some of this. Like I did my careers, like when I did jury trials deposition, it was most of the evidence were identified, the criminals were identified by what they're written, by what they've written, or just in writing. It speaks volume. And some of the things that they write is like the spirit that it's written in, and you know that these people think you're just a joke. But anyways, there you go. So the outcome now is the judge has given me and the IPCA to put in a memorandum of costs. Okay, so I have done that. I've contested it, and I've put it all in documentation, and I will make that decision whether I'm going to put that evidence up. But this time I didn't send the scanned copy to the case officer or anyone in courts, because I have reason to believe they're all sharing and stealing my information, because different people are coming in my space, doing, micromanaging me. It's just horrific, dangerous and horrific for me. But so the council has put his in. I haven't sent a scanned copy to the case officer. Her name is Patty, okay, because I've put in my memorandum that she, or the courts and the case officers and the Crown, have misled the judge. Okay, that's what I've put in my memorandum. The judges also asked for costs here. So I've put in my costs. What I'm trying to say is the judge can still make a decision in my favour, because all I've had to do is prove to the court that the Crown misled the judge. Okay, the judge is brand new, and I don't know who's doing. People are doing different things for different reasons, okay? But what they're actually doing, they're conspiring to steal somebody's liberty. It's all about the money, okay? I have a reason to believe that they've stolen money from using my identity, my entitlement. And good example is Unison Dance Crew pinned me down while I was working for my employer, while these people go and enjoy living luxuriously with the money. So that's something for the serious fraud to find out. It doesn't matter if those people are dead, they will find out. And that's why I believe the relationship that I've had with Henry Cavill and myself, God just opened up my eyes, okay, with what Natalie and her imposter Henry Cavill is doing with all the public lies. Okay, so basically God was just showing to me, revealing to me why things were so difficult for me, because here I am minding my own business. Other people have stolen my identity, steal from my bank account, use my name, steal hundreds and thousands of dollars under my name, keep me pinned down, and then make me pay for it and point the finger that I stole it. I didn't. Okay, guys, so this is what it looks like. This is what my government did to me. So unfortunately, it goes back to Labour. When Jacinda was there, when John Key was there, because that's where it started. And how it works in the hierarchy, or everyone in hierarchy. This includes PSA. This includes whoever was the CEO back then, blah, blah, blah. They are all accountable for what's happened to me. Okay, so according to the law, a vulnerable person is, a child under 18, of course, or a vulnerable adult. They are victims, and that is why we have laws for. But the system has changed. Those that are doing secret society, whatever they want to call it, are taking advantage of vulnerable, members of the public, or even working for the government, and they're just using their jobs for the wrong reasons. We're talking about motive and intent here, but I can clearly prove in the criminal jurisdiction that my case is definitely 100% a Category 4 case. So I'm basically working on my next project with my next court case. So anything can happen. I just know I'm supposed to be doing this. I think half of the reason why they're doing what they're doing is because they're too scared to do the right thing, to write the right judgment, because they're too scared, because they don't want these people to turn on them and their family. But that it doesn't matter. Even if you do the right thing, they'll still turn on you, so it doesn't matter. But that's not the point. The point is, if the system's not working, they need to do something about it so it doesn't happen to other people. So yes, I'm just keep in mind that a plaintiff is the person that actually commences the action for compensation or for whatever it is you're suing, the individual or the body corporate. That, if there's sufficient evidence to prove, to sue them or whatever, it is not the other way round. So what I'm trying to say is the plaintiff always gets the first right over everything. Never the defendant. Okay, never the offender. Okay, they do not get right over everything. So I'm just going to go with the flow. I will keep in the moment. I will update you. So the New Zealand Police and IPCA are not finished. Okay, I'm dealing with also psychological abuse indirectly. They're using sound effects. Okay, best way to describe it, they call me a whistleblower. But you guys have to realize a whistleblower is not a person who's committed offences. They're people that are actually, exposing corruption, and good on them, okay? I mean, if they don't, that's what happens. We end up having a corrupt system because people are not doing their job according to the laws. That everyone's just, taking all their personal beliefs and putting it in their job that has nothing to do with the laws and why we even have a government system. So they're doing sound effects, and sometimes even a dog barking, letting me know I'm a dog when I'm not a dog, and they're doing really bad sound effects to indicate a bad alliance, or to them just letting the devil likes to let you know I'm onto you, blah blah blah. Try and ignore it. It does get a bit much sometimes, but they are acting it out in my space. They're using sound effects, but they are losing. I can say they are decreasing, but you never put your guard down because they never rest. Okay, they wait and then they attack. And so I'll keep you guys in the loop of what's going on. So none of the cases are over yet. Okay, my intention, I have asked the judge that I want a criminal judge to take over everything. Okay, so that's probably what I'd like to do. I would like to do it all myself, but it's been really hard on me. But I'll just go with the flow and see which direction God wants me to go with my court cases. But yeah, so stay tuned and don't give up. Don't take anything I say, don't take anything I say lightly. You're not losing your mind. It's the new age system. But in saying that, no one should be blocked for any reason. No, there's no reason why the system shouldn't be working for anyone. Unfortunately, this is the new age technology system, and the scary thing is it's global. That makes it even more scary. So never put your guard down and do what you got to do to protect yourself and your family.